miyako, and I am back with another video. This time I really wanted to do a jam about something that not a lot of people talk about when they go on study abroad, especially in an Asian country. If you guys hear like a dingling in the background, my dogs are on my bed right now and they're just sniffing around, so please ignore that. So before I start out this video, I just want to say that I am not going to say anything like I'm fat, because I'm definitely nowhere close to being fat. I'm still on the very slim side, but that is just my natural body stature for all you guys who wanted to know. For my stature, I am 5'2", or for those of you guys who aren't from America, that's around 157 to 158 centimeters. And before I went to Japan, I was about 98 to 102 pounds. My weight fluctuated between those two. And in kilograms, that is around 44.5 to 46 kilograms. I was very active in high school. I did volleyball as a 4-year sport, and I ate generally pretty healthy. I never really ate fast food. It was just never really a thing of mine in general. And my family ate really healthy, so I really didn't eat that unhealthily, but because we are an Asian American family, I would eat white rice on a daily basis. And I don't own a scale in Japan, so I weighed myself when I came home at the beginning of February, and when I came home I was roughly 116 centimeters or 52.6-ish kilograms. And that was a real shock to me because I had never been that heavy in my life, and it is really not a huge difference, but when I think about it, it really was. Because I had been so active in my high school years, I had grown a lot of muscle tone throughout my entire body, and my fat to muscle ratio was really low. But after coming back from Japan, where I really didn't work out at all and I was eating pretty unhealthily, I had lost all my muscle tone, so I actually lost weight when I was first in Japan. And then after I had already lost all my muscle tone, I gained more weight on top of that, and that was all purely just fat in my body. And after thinking about it for a little while, I kind of can see why I gained so much weight, and that's why I'm gonna share these things with you. And these were just for me personally. If you guys avoid these things, I'm sure you can avoid weight gain in Japan, but these are some of the things that I did notice. So although a lot of people lose weight in Japan due to the smaller portion sizes of each meal, and in general, yes, my stomach did shrink. I still cannot eat as much as I did when I was back in America, but something that I did notice is that Japanese foods are very, very starch-based. And what I mean by that is they include a lot of things such as white rice, pasta, noodles, all of that stuff that, yes, you can find in America, but for me personally, living in an Asian American family, besides rice, it really wasn't something that I ate all the time. And even with rice, I was never used to eating it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which is something that the Japanese do tend to do. So for me, that was just like an overload of starch that really blew up my system. Included onto the starches were the amount of snack options that Japan has. If you guys have ever been to Japan and you've gone to a convenience store or a supermarket, you'd be surprised by all the different options they have just for snacks. And I would pick up chips, I'd pick up this, I'd pick up that, and I'd just be snacking on them while doing homework. The second reason why I think I gained a lot of weight in Japan is due to the seasonal changes. For those of you guys who don't know, while I'm in America, I lived in the Bay Area, and the Bay Area is very well known for having very mild weather and temperature changes. So when I went to Japan, and they have such cold winters where there's like a foot of snow, and then they have such hot summers where it's super humid, I just really did not want to go outside at all, and I would spend all my time with the AC or the heater blasting and just eating like food inside my room and holding myself up in there. And that's really bad for you guys. Yeah, that's really basic, but it's something that really affected me not being used to having seasons in general. And the third reason that I think I gained weight was because of the lack of exercise options that I was able to utilize while I was in Japan. And that kind of plays into the whole weather thing, because due to the weather, I didn't even want to go out and run during the summer and the winter, let alone during the spring and the fall. As soon as I was out of my exercise routine, it was just, I was completely out of it. Compared to America, where I can just drive around and see some sort of gym everywhere, like there's a 24-hour fitness, there's a sports club, but there's always some kind of exercise place anywhere, and if not that, there's a ton of space in almost every residential area that I see that you can run around in or go out and play some sports with your friends. First off, in Japan, there's not that much space to exercise in general in most of the larger cities, And even in the smaller residential areas, a lot of the streets don't have sidewalks and stuff. So if you do plan to run, you're gonna be running like right next to the cars, which I am just not totally comfortable with in general. But it's not just that, it's also, even if you can find a gym, which I found it really hard to, I know there are some, but they're not close to where I live, and the only other one is my school gym, which is not very nice. It's just really hard to find ways and places to exercise in Japan, and even more so than America, it just really discouraged me from exercising. And I think the last and biggest reason that I gained weight was my lack of ability to make my own food in Japan. For those of you guys who don't know, I am currently living in a student dorm. And not only this, but because I'm in a student dorm, we also have a shokudo, or a cafeteria, where they feed me 2 meals per day, except for on Sundays. So it's really convenient, plus it's really cheap. So one of the things that really limited me was the fact that the kitchenette was so small in my apartment, and this is definitely harder for the people who live alone because a lot of them don't even have kitchenettes. A lot of them just had to go out and buy food. But for me, I was used to making my own smoothies and maybe my own salads and own meals that were made for my own personal palate and my cost budget and everything else for calories and all those things. So I was so used to doing that. And moving into a kitchenette that was so limited in the terms of options that I had, I really got sick of eating all the things that I was able to make, as I only had like one little stove this big, and then that's basically it for the kitchenette. You get a sink, the little stove, and a fridge, and that's all I had. So the amount of things that I was able to make was very limited, especially considering that the stove was an electric stove. So even in terms of that, it was even more limiting than usual. And due to this, I really just got even lazier than I usually was. And not only did I not exercise, but I would often go out to eat or bring back obento from the supermarket that I could have honestly probably made myself and saved a little bit of money and calories in the way that I made it. And I just gained so much weight from eating like rice all day, every single day. And that really affected my health and my body. So now that I've said all of these things, I want to tell you guys how being home for about 2 months now has affected me so far. So since being home for 2 months, I still have not been able to get myself back into my regular exercise routine. I honestly just sit at home all day and try to make videos, or I just sleep, or I work on some schoolwork that I have to do when I get back. However, I have lost a total of 11 pounds so far, so I am back at about 105 pounds. And I was really surprised myself just to see how much I changed. And another thing that I noticed is that honestly, it's a lot of the problem is with me. However, the Japanese lifestyle has further pushed me into that influence of not really doing anything outside of my daily activities. And just from eating healthy and changing my diet, that has allowed me to lose 11 pounds in a month and a half. And I think that's absolutely amazing considering I really don't exercise at all. And that has really helped me since coming back to America. I'm really scared about what's gonna happen when I do end up going back to Japan eventually, but we'll just have to see what happens from there. Really? So yeah, I just wanted to list some things that concerned me in terms of gaining or losing weight while in Japan. And if you guys live in Japan too, tell me if you've experienced like these weight gaining problems too. Maybe it's just me because of my really unhealthy lifestyle. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if it was helpful to you guys anyways, in any way, please leave it in the comments below. And as always, make sure to subscribe to join my family and give me a thumbs up. It really helps me out a lot, and it lets me know that you guys like my videos, and it inspires me to keep on going. So thanks you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye! I do want to warn you guys that, like the Claire's mask, this one does not have any adjustment cuts on the sides besides right here on the chin area. So for those of you guys who have smaller